Hi guys, how are you all today morning? Good morning. Today is 13th October 2023. My name is T.S.V. Raghavan and I live in Chennai, Tamil Nadu, India. This is my spiritual vlog on YouTube. Hardan, 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 Haribol, TRSV, Nectar, NECTAR, Nectar. In this particular vlog, in all my previous videos, we have been discussing about the knowledge and information that we have gleaned through the study of spiritual books, scriptures, contemplation on the material universe, and meditation on the spiritual universe. This particular video in this vlog is no exception to that rule. In fact, it is a mere continuation of all that we have been doing in all my previous videos. Kindly subscribe to this vlog and press the bell icon so that I may keep reminding you of all my previous, present, and future videos. So let us continue with the topic of discussion for today's video. Today we are going to analyze in detail the comparison and the differences between intelligence and emotions, or intelligence and cunning. These are two terms which are frequently used while describing a life in general and a particular human living entity, whether male or female in particular. Some people are called intelligent and some are called cunning. We are going to analyze the subtle difference between the two types of people in this material world and in this society. So let us begin. According to the colloquial and local dialect used in the society, and according to the material vocabulary, there is a particular saying. Please listen to this quite carefully. According to the local multitude of the society, when a particular human living entity, whether male or female, has his or her head rule his or her heart, then that person is called intelligent. Whereas when the same person has his or her heart rule his or her head, then the same person becomes cunning. This is one particular very popular saying in the society, and the multitude of the society holds this particular saying as sacrosanct and true. Now we are going to analyze this particular term. According to our own contemplation on the material universe and meditation on the spiritual universe, we all know by now that when the spirit soul gets in touch with the material world, this material world gets irritated by such touch which it does not appreciate. According to our spiritualists of yore, this material world initially does not like being connected to the spirit soul, though the spirit soul and the spirit whole, are the supreme personality of Godhead's superior energy, and this material world is the inferior energy of the same supreme personality of Godhead. This is a saying among the spiritualists of yore. According to them, the soul and the super soul are Lord's superior energy, and the material world is Lord's inferior energy. When the spirit spark gets in touch with this material world, then the same spirit spark which had long before got ejected from the spirit hole and was circulating endlessly and aimlessly in the space for times immemorial gets in touch with the material world. It loses its identity as a spirit spark and thereon becomes the spirit soul. However, when this happens, this material world wraps this spirit soul with four layers of material body. When these four layers are wrapped around that spirit soul, it loses its identity once again as a spirit soul and becomes what is known as a living entity in this material world. After that, once it gets acclimatized to its surrounding of the material world and to its new identity as a living entity, this particular spiritual turned living entity gets into an endless cycle and orbit of birth and death in this material world. This is one introduction I wanted to talk to you about before proceeding further. Now, as I said, this material world envelops the spirit soul with four layers of material body. These are the first layer of causal intelligence and logic. Second, the astral body of mind, feelings, and emotions. The third layer of etheric body of senses being five in number, that is, sight, hearing, smell, taste, and touch, and finally the gross body made up of four elements, namely air, fire, water, and earth. The living entity is identified in this material world by his or her gross body. Thus, the gross body of a cell, a fossil, an algae, an amoeba, a creeper, a weed, a shrub, a grass, a plant, an amphibian, a tree, a reptile, a bird, a beast, or a human being are all identified by their respective gross bodies. This we must understand before proceeding further. Now I will come back to the popular saying that when the intelligence rules the heart of a human living entity, he or she is considered intelligent, whereas when the same person has his or her heart rule his or her head, then the same person's intelligence converts into cunning. This is the popular saying. Now we will, on the basis of our previous knowledge, try to get or delve into this particular saying to find out how much it is correct and how it suits us all. The first thing, there is a mass of tissue called brain which is lying concealed or embedded into the skull of every human, male or female, living entity. This brain is the link between the three subtle bodies of causal intelligence, astral mind, etheric senses, and the rest of the gross body. In other words, vibrations that emanate continuously from the causal body of intelligence, the astral body of mind, and the etheric body of senses hit this brain, which selects some of these vibrations according to the destiny, karma, experience, maturity, upbringing, surrounding, etc. of that living entity and extracts some juice out of such vibration which it percolates down the gross body of that particular living human entity, whether male or female. According to this juice, the rest of the body of that particular human living entity reacts. That is precisely the reason why there is so much of variety and coloring in this society. The vibrations selected by the brain of any girl, boy, teenager, male, female, adult, preferences of the same, plus that of an electrician, a laborer, a skilled worker, a plumber, a teacher, a lawyer, a monk, a scientist, a saint, etc., are very, very different. And according to those particular emanations that the brain of that particular living entity has selected, the juice is extracted and percolated down the gross body of that living entity. That is precisely the reason why there is so much of difference in the reactions of a girl, a boy, a woman, a man, an old lady, an old woman, a old man, a unskilled laborer, a skilled worker, a carpenter, goldsmith, blacksmith, electrician, engineer, doctor, lawyer, monk, saint, rishi, maharshi, scientist, etc. This is the reason why there is so much of difference in the reactions of every such human living entity in this society. Now, after we take this into consideration, let us talk about the saying again. When the head rules the heart, it becomes intelligence, and when the heart rules the head, it becomes cunning. Now we will delve further into this particular saying. Both head and heart are a part of the human gross body. They are not as subtle as the three subtle layers of body that envelop this spirit soul, namely, first layer of causal intelligence, second layer of astral mind, and third layer of etheric senses. Hence, we must judge this saying according to the gross body, the brain, and the heart of that gross body, and the reactions of that living entity alone. Here, there is a very great difference between intelligence and cunning of this proverb and the actual intelligence, logic, emotions, feelings, and senses that have their vibrations emanate out of that subtle body into the brain. So, for the time being, we will keep those subtle bodies away from the gross body to understand this particular saying better. When we do so, we find that the head may listen to the vibrations of the causal body of intelligence, the astral body of mind, or the etheric body of senses. The same is the case with the heart, which only acts according to the juice percolated down into the gross body by the brain of a particular living entity, whether male or female. In such a case, when they say head rules the heart and so it becomes intelligent, that means that that particular human living entity's brain is taking emanations only from the astral body of mind and the etheric body of senses. We will keep the causal body of intelligence and logic away for the time being. When the heart rules the head, here we will take emanations only of the etheric body of senses and the astral body of mind. We will appreciate that emanations of vibrations from all three subtle bodies hit this brain. On an average, 75% of the multitude of this society listens only to the vibrations of the etheric body of senses, namely sight, hearing, smell, taste, and touch, whereas only 20% of the humanity listens to both the vibrations from the etheric body of senses and the astral body of mind. Only a select top 5 listen to all three vibrations, that is, vibrations from the causal body of intelligence, the astral body of mind, and the etheric body of senses. Such people are just 5% of the multitude, and they are 3% material and 2% spiritual. For the time being, we will keep this 5% separate, and we will not include them as a part of the saying of head ruling the heart and heart ruling the head. Here, this proverb supposedly means that when the etheric senses only of a human living entity completely rule over the vibrations of the astral body of mind, that person becomes intelligent. Whereas when that person manages to make his or her astral body of mind rule over his or her etheric body of senses, the same, sorry, in the first cases, the person becomes cunning, whereas in the second case, the same person becomes intelligent. Let me repeat this saying once again. Emanations reach the brain of a human living entity from all the three subtle bodies. The vibrations from all the three subtle bodies continuously hammer the brain of that particular living entity. For the time being, we are going to exclude the vibrations from the causal body of pure intelligence and logic, which makes up for 5% of the humanity of the society at any given time. Instead, we will concentrate on the vibrations from the astral body of mind and the etheric body of senses. When the vibrations from the astral body of mind rule the vibrations from the etheric body of senses, then that particular human living entity, whether male or female, becomes intelligent. Whereas when the vibrations from the etheric body of senses rule the astral body of mind of the same human living entity, then that particular person becomes cunning. When the head rules the heart, means the astral body of mind rules the astral body of senses, etheric body of senses, then that particular person becomes intelligent. Whereas when the heart rules the head, that is, vibrations from the etheric body of senses rules the vibrations from the astral body of mind, then the same person becomes cunning. This is what this particular saying means when it says the head ruling the heart or the heart ruling the head. We have got several instances which will be able to explain this particular nature of humanity or the multitude of society of living entities in this society. We all know that the character of a living entity, especially human, both male and female, depends on this particular saying alone. That is the reason why there is so much difference in the nature, behavior, etc. of all living entities in this society. We must appreciate that the same living entity, whether male or female, may change according to his or her education, experience, maturity, and hard knocks of life while selecting which side should rule what, whether the head should rule the heart or the heart should rule the head. As a person becomes older, saner, more experienced and matured, plus his or her education and cerebral level increases, this person chooses his or her head to rule his or her heart and not the other way round. We will appreciate that we all live to regret several of our actions of our younger days where we used our own heart to rule our head instead of the other way round. As a result of which, we were forced to commit several such acts which we may live to regret now. There are several cases where we feel repentant about what we have done to others in this society by using our own heart instead of our own head while behaving or interacting with others in this society. As we go, as we get more experienced and matured, and as we get more educated and cerebrally superior to what we were till yesterday, we find that those actions which we considered sacrosanct or very intelligent in the past are mere cunning reactions to various happenings in our life. We have been consistently mean and selfish and greedy while deciding about various incidents, happenings, and factors in our own life. That is the reason why when the heart rules the head and we become cunning, we invariably brush everyone on the wrong side, whereas when our own head starts ruling our heart, we are more intelligent, sane, sober, mature, and we tend to make only positive actions. This is the introductory part of this particular video on intelligence and cunning. I would like to continue talking about this in my next video to explain this particular proverb or saying in the society in a more detailed way. Kindly let me know what you think of my talk on this particular matter. Please give me your own expert views, thoughts, ideas, and opinions so that I may blend everything together for the sake of this society. Before concluding, let me remind you that I am also a published author with Amazon Kindle and paperback. I write on spiritualism, fiction, and assorted subjects. Spiritualism happens to be my favorite subject. Till we meet in my next video, it is good morning from TSV Raghavan.